Welcome back, everybody, to our midweek update 2021 style, man.
Yeah,
2021 version. It's great to be back with you guys. Missed you the last few weeks, but
yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah, here we are. It was we've spent the last few days kind of catching up and reminiscing about December, and it was a great month. A lot happened, a lot of opportunities, and we're going to be sharing more about that in the coming weeks. If you're connected here, you're going to get some follow up from Fitz, just kind of rehashing 2020 a little bit.
Man.
It's always hard to encapsulate an entire year, especially one like 2020, in a few thoughts or sentences. But
it was fun, man. I was interacting with a key volunteer the other day who actually said that because of the ministry involvement that she got to have, 2020 was one of her favorite years.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to go that far as to say that, but I will say, man, reflecting back on 2020, I find as many wins as can be. Like it wasn't a total wash. There were a lot of ministry wins, kingdom wins, and I hope personal wins for many of us in the last year, and optimistic that 2021 is going to have a whole lot more of that for all of us, and especially for the kingdom and the church. But,
right. Yeah, it's and we were fortunate to have just a little bit of a break here right at the end of the year. We kind of once we got through December 27th, we shut down for a few days, and man, it's so healthy to reflect and just step back and breathe, get perspective. But I think we both share just our excitement and anticipation coming back into the office this week and getting with our team and just seeing everybody, but just knowing that new year, I like the idea, new year, new hope. Things will always, there's always challenges. There's always circumstances that test us and stretch us. So it's not that those will necessarily go away. It's just what's God got in store for us this year.
Yeah.
And let's discover that, embrace that, press into that. This COVID thing, we think will hopefully come to an end, and we can get back to some normalcy that we think is important, like gathering in person, to really fully be able to get back. We've been open, we'll continue to be open, but to really get the majority of our folks back on campus. That's something we want to get back to. And then there's other things that you necessarily don't want to get back to. If there were bad habits or things that this season allowed you to kind of deal with those and move on, then let's keep moving on rather than revert back. So new normal can bring I think a lot of good things. So excited about that. And so we look forward to this year with you guys. Right out of the gate, man, we are diving into a series called Make It Awesome. Now, before we talk about that specifically, one of the things that's just awesome about the start of this year was the fact that we were able to get our kids and students back on campus.
Yeah, so refreshing,
this past Sunday and moving forward. Yeah. And so we if you weren't aware of that, we want to make sure you knew, especially if you're a parent of a high schooler, middle schooler, preschooler, elementary age kid, nursery, that at 11 o'clock each Sunday we have our doors wide open, ready to welcome your kids back and pour into them, teach them, worship with them. So, but
senior high meeting in the evening.
That's right. Yeah, at 6 o'clock is the high school service with our kids, our elementary and down. Just a reminder to register those kids ahead of time, so we're prepared, and we do have caps on the size. But we just wanted to talk for a minute to moms and dads. We're parents, and just again acknowledge ongoing challenges. We know that JCPS is still closed and not real sure when they're going to open again. So we know that that particular challenge with COVID continues to perpetuate and present just a unique challenge in regards to our kids' attention and their growth and their well-being mentally and physically, and we just want to make sure we're encouraging you along those lines, but also pointing you towards some resources. One of those fits is Right Now Media.
Yeah, man, Right Now Media, if you're unfamiliar with this, we actually have the link to access through our website. But everyone here connected to OCC, gets access to Right Now Media for free. So you log on, it's free, and it is like the Christian version of Netflix. It's got thousands upon thousands of resources, video resources, Bible studies, messages, great stuff, from stuff for little kids all the way up to adults, on every kind of topic you can imagine. And so, if you're feeling that nudge of like, man, we're not quite ready to get back to doing some of the things we used to do, but we're also not quite feeling like we know how to engage our kids on all the right things. Use that resource. Yeah. If your kids are going to be choosing between Netflix and trying to find a movie or something on there, or going to Amazon Prime or whatever it might be, or Disney Plus, man, throw Right Now Media into the mix as well, and nudge them towards some of the right things. And along with that, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I mean, our family ministry team, Corey and Susan, man, they're ready to equip parents and help you think through some ways to disciple your kids. Because that's one of the cautions for us, right? That's one of the dangers of a season like this, is if we step back from church, our kids can perceive that as stepping back from God. And if the things that we're doing during this season, and if we've created some bad habits during this season, where maybe we're not as intentional about certain faith components, our kids pick up on that, and they pick up on a whole lot more than we realize. Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that we're all, as parents and guardians, teaching those kids how to walk with Jesus, not just how to be churchgoers. Like, when the church is fully open, when quarantine's done, when COVID's over, then we'll go back to church. Like, we're excited to have you all come back, but it's not just about getting bodies in a building. It's about getting people to walk with Christ and to follow Him. And so make sure that you are intentional during this season about helping your kids walk with Jesus. And that means you got to be intentional yourself about walking with Jesus. That's the point of the series, right? Yeah. To make it awesome, man, is to walk with Christ.
Yeah. I think the challenge we're all sort of being confronted with is to whatever degree we depended on somebody else or some other program or some other entity to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. When that reality slaps you in the face, it can be sobering. But it is the reality. I would consider that one of the many silver linings with COVID is it has put more squarely than ever the responsibility of discipling our family and our kids on the parents, which can be, again, just another overwhelming thing. It's like, now I'm school teacher, I'm playing a role, and also, spiritual leader. Well, the spiritual leader has always been there. That's always an expectation. As with a lot of things, it just begins and ends in the home, we think. And so, man, tap into the resources through our website on our children's and students page, that Right Now Media link. The Right Now Media thing is free, not free to us, but free to you. We're covering that cost. It's significant, but we believe in the investment in making that available. All you got to do is set up a login, like a lot of other things. Just come up with a username and a password, and
you use it on your phone, on your TV, any digital device, man. It's there.
Yeah,
and it's
at your fingertips. So if you have any issues with that, let us know. But it's there available for you through our media page on our website. So make it awesome. We started this past Sunday, launched this series. We got 5 weeks to go. Where's this series take us, Fitz, and why is it so important that we engage into this teaching?
Yeah, it was fun when we got a team of our staff together, and we were talking through how to kick off 2021 and what series to kick it off with, and we were tossing out different ideas, different names, and what kept coming up was the fact that, coming out of 2020, there was this feeling that 2020 just wasn't an awesome year. But the challenge with that is we still saw God do awesome things, and God is awesome regardless. So the no matter what concept, that no matter what's going on in the world, if we're pursuing God, kind of like that story of Bruce Olson, or Bruchko, if you are interested in that book, lead us to that, living with an eternal perspective and say, man, if I can put in place the things that God would have me put in place, of getting time with Him and spending time in His Word, prayer, surrendering myself to Him, interacting with others in the church, sharing my faith with people beyond this, and sharing not just beat somebody over the head with a story or just inviting them, but even just the simple ways of how we serve people in a sense that when we serve, we're sharing. That makes an awesome story out of a gloomy day. I mean, that's taking the lemons and making lemonade. That's saying, man, this is a bad situation for that person. But if I can share some hope, if I can share some love, if I can do something, then that might just create an awesome moment for them. Let's try to always flip that. Now, that's an easy thing for me because I'm an optimist. So I know I annoy some of y'all because I'm like, we'll turn this thing around. But I think that's a biblically grounded optimism. There's realism in it too. Like I'm not saying situations aren't bad at times, but looking for the way that we can turn that for God. It's the Romans 8:28 thing. That God can work through the good in any of those situations.
Yeah, I love that, and we need that. It is just critical. I think one of the aspects that we're going to get into in a few weeks is the relational connection. Just building these spiritual foundations. Part of that is putting ourselves into groups of people, smaller groups of people that we can build accountability and do life with. And Mark's going to be talking about that on the 17th. And then that night, we launch our first group build of the year. And if you're unfamiliar with that, group build is just an intensified opportunity to get connected with a few other folks that you'll share kind of a weekly time with in a small group setting. So get that on your radar. Share that with folks you may know who are looking to get connected, take that next step. They're maybe tired of being
and that
anonymous.
Is really, it's become part of the DNA of this church, and it's becoming more and more part of the DNA of who we are. Because it's a Jesus model, right? Jesus taught in these huge crowds, and then he got together with a smaller group of people, his disciples and his closer followers. And those guys who were a little dense would be like, hey, that stuff you were talking to, you mentioned this to 5,000 people. What are you talking about, man? That went over my head. Can you help? And that's where the transformation happened. That's where the really cool growth that we see in that story of those disciples. That it wasn't just being with Jesus as he talked to all those other people, but it was being with them in that smaller group setting. And that's a biblical model. We see, the early church, they met in large gatherings, the temple courts, and then they also met from house to house. So if you are missing out on either of those, the larger worship setting or gathering with a smaller group, man, we want to encourage you to jump in and we've got groups for everybody, and Mark's he works really hard to make sure everybody gets connected to the right group. So jump in the group.
January 17th. That's a Sunday at 6 p.m. Check out the website, get registered for that, share that with somebody you know, come with them, whatever makes it work, and commit to that for this year. Another area that is can really rob our joy and can trap us, can enslave us, is our finances. Now, we spent an entire series back before Christmas called Making Change, and led up to the Tithe Challenge, which 90-day Tithe Challenge, which, by the way, is still in play. If you go through our generosity page, if you haven't jumped into that yet or still thinking about that, it's still there. Any point you can jump in. But one of the practical tools that we wanted to offer this month regarding all that was Financial Peace University. And both an on-campus offering and online offering, and that's coming up here in the middle of the month, January 19th and 21st are the launch days for that. Here's what you need to know: is while it's $130 commitment on the front side, and that's per couple, not individual. So per couple, $130. We're offering a full refund of that if you'll attend 7 of the 9 sessions. It's a big time commitment with a financial commitment on the front side, but an incentive on the back. And so we'll give you that $130 back if you can last through at least 7 of those.
We believe in it so strongly. And man, it's you've heard me say this before. My wife and I were in a pretty good spot before we took it several years ago, but we were in a much better spot coming out the other side of it. And the tools and tips and tricks and training that we received from that was just fantastic. Dave Ramsey has done a great job, and and he has massaged and nuanced this thing over the years that the Financial Peace University resources you get now are top notch. It just gets better and better, and you might work with somebody, or you might have a neighbor, you might have a family member who they've confided in you at one point, like they're just a little sideways or maybe way upside down in their finances, and they're trying to figure that out. This is not a church member only thing. This is not a church only thing. Like, invite people to join with you, and maybe you're watching, you're like, hey, we're doing great, but somebody who needs it. Nudge them. It is a worthwhile investment. They're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret it.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah, so plan ahead for that. You can go ahead and get registered through our website for the on-campus version of that on January the 19th. That's a Tuesday evening, or the online version that starts on the 21st of January. Looking forward to that. Well, Fitz, we've talked about a lot. We're going to wrap it up here. Just a reminder that everything we've talked about is through our website, okolonacc.org. That's the hub for all information, opportunities, connectivity, our services, live services, on-demand services. It's all there. So make sure you got that okolonacc.org dropped into your shortcuts, or whatever gets you there the quickest, and use that as a tool. Last thing, this has been sitting here the whole time, Fitz, and I don't know if we got any space geeks like me out there who are already like, I know what that is. Now a few weeks ago, we played a guess it game with this thing. We want to shout out to Casey Newman who guessed it. Smart dude. This is for your smartphone. I left my phone over under this, but your smartphone goes in the top here, and it amplifies the sound through these end pieces here. So it's a pretty cool non-tech. If the power ever goes out, you still got a way to amplify your music through that. So a pretty cool deal. If you know what this beautiful thing here on the desk is, shout it out in the chat. Let us know what you think that is. It's clearly a rocket, but I want more detail. Like what's the story behind this? What specific rocket is that? And maybe what's the backstory on it? It's a big part of our history here in America. All right, so yes, I am a space nerd. I love it, all right, I'm proud of it. All right, Fitz, man, it's been great hanging out with everybody, and we will see you guys Sunday morning, 9:30 and 11. Have a great week.
See you soon.